BusyBox's expert information on the core. What is my core?
The core is a much talked about area of fitness. It's a big buzzword in the fitness industry at the moment, and it's actually largely misunderstood by a lot of people, including fitness instructors. The core is very complex and really very difficult to explain in just a matter of sentences, but really best to summarize the core is it's comprised of the outer unit and the inner unit. Outer unit are large moving muscles on the outside, such as your rectus abdominis, your six-pack muscle, your obliques, which are on the side of the body. But most importantly, by far the most important area of the core is the inner unit, which comprise four main muscles known as your transversus abdominis muscle, which is a very deep muscle which acts like a corset in the body. You've got pelvic floor muscles down the bottom. You've got your diaphragm, and you've got deep, sort of spindly muscles called the multifidus in the back.
What is my outer unit?
The outer unit of the core are generally the moving muscles of the torso. Your core is essentially your torso section of the body, and the outer units comprise of muscles such as the latissimus dorsi muscles, the oblique muscles, the rectus abdominis muscles, which are the six-pack muscles that most people like to see the aesthetic look at. So they're anything really that ultimately move the body, propel it forwards.
What is my inner unit?
The inner unit is by far the most important area of the core and comprises four different muscles. You've got the pelvic floor muscles down at the bottom, you've got diaphragm muscles, you've also got transversus abdominis, which is a deep stomach muscle which helps to protect the back, and you've also got a long spindly muscle called the multifidus muscle, which goes up the spine and is essential for good back health.
What is the function of my core?
Ultimately, it protects internal organs, but really the most important function of the core is for the stability of the pelvis, stability of the back, stability of the pelvis. It essentially just holds the body straight for any movements that you do, whether you move your arms or whether you move the legs. So if you've got a weak core, the centre of your body is not balanced, and it can be weak, and it can easily lead to injury.
What is my trunk?
Your trunk is essentially the midsection of the body. You use your stomach muscles to flex the trunk, to bend forwards. You can side flex your trunk, so that's leaning to the side. So the trunk is essentially the midsection of your body.
What is biomechanics?
Biomechanics is a very complex aspect of human physiology, and effectively, to summarise biomechanics, it's the effect that the muscles have on the joints, and the whole have effect on the whole body. So if you have weak muscles on one side of the body and strong muscles on another, it can cause poor body biomechanics. Essentially, it puts you out of posture, and it can cause a whole lot of injury and undue stress and strain on different parts of the body.
What sort of injuries occur from a weak core?
You can sustain a number of injuries from a weak core in any part of the body, but certainly the most popular is lower back pain. If the inner unit of your core is weak, then your back is not stabilised and it's exposed to injury. But you can have a number of other injuries, really ranging from foot pain to heel pain to Achilles pain, knee pain, etc., all as a result of having a weak core, because of the effect it has on the pelvis and the anterior pelvic tilt that can give rise to a rotation of the femur, which changes the whole biomechanics of the lower leg. So really, it's essential, whatever sport you do, from running to hockey to cricket to rugby, to have a strong core to protect all the limbs in your body, really.
Why is a good posture important?
A good posture is really important because ultimately it helps to protect all the major parts of the body, really especially the back. With good posture, muscles are the right length, they're the right strength, you stand upright, and it stops putting undue stress on different parts of the body.
What is my neutral spine?
Neutral spine is essentially the physiological place which your spine sits. This varies from person to person. Some people have what's known as a more lordotic curve in their upper spine. Some people have a kyphotic curve. Your spine is essentially, a neutral spine is essentially the place where, if you're lying on the floor with your knees bent, that's the place, and without putting any stress on your muscles, that's the place where your spine sits, is your neutral spine.
How do I find my neutral spine?
You can just find your neutral spine by lying on the floor, bend your knees and feet on the floor, and just lie there and don't put any stress on the body whatsoever. Some people may find they've got an excessive curve in the lower back. Some people find they have a flat back. Either way, as long as you're relaxed and you're not stressing any muscles in the body, then that's your neutral spine.
What is core stabilisation?
Core stabilisation is really important, not only in sports but in everyday life. In order for the core to function well, the brain has to effectively turn it on and it has to be engaged throughout movement. So when you reach for something on the floor or you play sport, your core needs to be stabilised so that your back is well protected. If you don't have a strong core, then of course that has a problem. Your back's very vulnerable to injury, and any twist or rotation without the core being strong or very well stabilised can lead to injury and quite severe back pain.
Why is core stabilisation important?
Core stabilisation is really essential because it helps to prevent injury from a number of different areas. But again, really in reference to your lower back. With core muscles strong, whenever you reach for something up high, down low, or in a twisting movement, if your core, your inner unit muscles are recruited, it protects your spine and you're able to perform everyday functions, whether you twist, lunge, bend, and your back is ultimately protected. Unfortunately, a lot of people these days, because the core is effectively switched off and not activated and not strong, then core stabilisation is a major issue in a lot of people, and again, it's really why lower back pain is such a chronic problem in the UK and indeed in the whole world.
How does core stabilisation help with injury?
By performing correct exercises to stabilise the core, it prevents injury because deep inner unit muscles, if we specify that the transversus abdominis muscle, which is like a corset muscle, by strengthening this muscle, which is so weak in so many people, it effectively acts like a weights belt. So if you engage your deep transversus abdominis muscle, it helps to squash everything in, protects the back, and protects the postspinal processes, and it really acts as a protection. Effectively, it's your body's own corset or weights belt.
How can I strengthen my core?
Core strengthening can be done in a number of different ways, from sitting down, reading a newspaper, to doing any form of activity for static core exercises. But ultimately, in everyday life, we're not always static and stationary. It's really important that whenever you do exercise in the gym, you engage your core, so the core is used in conjunction with other movements such as a twist or a lunge or a bend. So ultimately, it's essential to perform core exercises when you're moving, as well as statically. In the early stages, however, it's important just to take things nice and slowly and make sure that your core is strong before you work on to dynamic movement.
Can't I just do ab crunches?
A lot of people think that the ab crunches are an essential part of core training, and to a degree, obviously, that they are. Having a strong rectus abdominis, which is the muscle you strengthen when you do ab crunches, is important. However, the ab crunch is immensely overused in the gym. A lot of people overdo the crunch and may very well develop a good-looking six-pack muscle. But the problem that has is as the muscles get stronger, they will shorten, and as the muscles shorten, the trunk is in a constant state of flexion. So essentially, you're constantly bending forwards. It's very, very subtly, but of course, it's still bending forwards. And over time, over months and years of this happening, the head can protrude forward as a compensation. So it's really important to, of course, do ab crunches, but it really isn't no need to do 800 and 1,000, which is what a lot of people do every week in the gym, because it's just going to lead to poor function, poor form later on in life.